Hello, and welcome everyone to today's Fairy God Boss live webinar. We are so excited to have you all join us. We're going to give folks a few seconds to connect, but in the meantime, please share where you're from so we can all learn about each other. And that is located on the right side of your screen. You'll find a chat box. If you feel comfortable, send us a message. Say hi. Hi, Leslie from Dayton. All right. So exciting to see everyone. Pittsburgh. We have some Michigan. It's amazing, amazing. Oh my God, we have Vivian from London. Got some Atlanta, Georgia here. This is wonderful. Thank you all for being here. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Naina Koshak at Applied Materials, where I drive the campus engagement strategy for the university recruiting team. Before we get started, I do have a quick few announcements. The session will be recorded and shared via email with all the registrants, so don't worry if you've missed a few minutes. During this discussion, we want to hear from all of you. So please use the stage chat on the right side of the screen like you're doing now to send some messages, comments, and use the QA tab to send questions to all of us here as panelists. All right. For those who don't know Fairy God Boss, it is the largest online career community for women. Millions of women visit Fairy God Boss for career connections, jobs, community advice, hard to find intel about how companies treat women, and at virtual events like this. So now I'm excited to kick off today's event. Work with Impact, building your career with your community, sponsored by Applied Materials. And I'm thrilled to have four of my colleagues join us. We have Sage Berta, Jessica Stanford, Adiana Lumban, and Jaylis Caro. Welcome, everyone. Ladies, will you please take a minute to introduce yourselves? We'd love to hear what's going on in your life, both personally and professionally, and what you do with your role today at Applied Materials. Sage, I'm going to start with you. Welcome.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And hi, everyone. My name is Sage Berta, and I work in Applied Materials Global Supply Chain Organization. I'm a supplier account leader, and my group is basically the primary interface between Applied Materials and all of our strategic supplier partners. So when I'm not at work, my husband and I actually just became empty nesters. So when I'm not here running meetings with our suppliers, I'm out part of a new running club that we just joined. So trying to keep up with those folks.
Nice. I love the empty nester goals. Thank you for sharing. Jessica, you are up next. Introduce yourself. Tell us something personal, professional, and your role at Applied Materials.
Sure. Thanks very much, Nina. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Jessica Stanford. I've been at Applied for almost 10 years, and I would argue that I probably have maybe the best or top 5 best jobs at Applied Materials. I work on our social impact team. It's called Global Community Affairs, and that means that we are working to connect our employees and the company with all the things that we all care about in the community. So that includes making millions of dollars of financial grants to nonprofit organizations in the communities where we operate from the Applied Materials Foundation. It also includes running all of the great programs that we have on offer for our employees to connect and to really make an impact in their communities in a way that's meaningful to them. So it doesn't get a whole lot better than that. It's a great job. I'm excited to share with you how I've been able to really kind of weave my personal values into my career here at Applied. And also, my side hustle is that I am a relatively new coach of a 7-year-old boys soccer team. So I'm not saying it's the beginning of a career pivot for me, but I don't know. We'll see. We've won 2 games, so it's looking good.
That's awesome. I love it. The soccer coach. We've all been there before, Jessica. Welcome. I'm going to turn it on to Adian, whom I'm going to be calling Adi throughout our entire presentations because that is her favorite nickname to go by.
Hi, thanks, Naina. And first of all, thank you everyone for being here. I'm so happy to be here. Like Naina said, my name is Adian Alamban, but I go by Adi. I joined Applied fresh out of college last year under the new college grad program. as a process engineer in our semiconductor products group. And outside of work, I really enjoy going rock climbing.
That's awesome. Do you do that at a gym or do you do that on a mountain or both?
Both, but
Nice.
it's a lot easier to go to the gym.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's great. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. We do have Jaylis, and she will introduce herself shortly. But I'm excited about our discussion today. And for all of you that are tuning in, I'd like to remind you that we will be answering questions that come directly from all of you. Please submit your questions on the Q&A tab on the right side of your screen, and we will do our best to respond to as many as we can. All right, let's get started, everyone. First question. Can you share what your early days at Applied Materials look like? What support or mentorship made the biggest difference? And I'm going to start again with Sage.
All right. Well, thank you for that great question. I had an incredible introduction to Applied Materials. I was hired into our supply chain new college graduate program over 20 years ago. I graduated from Arizona State, and I started my career actually at Applied's California headquarters. It was a wonderful experience transitioning from college to early career. And I was really, really fortunate because I had some great managers and leaders really early on. And it's kind of a cultural thing here at Applied, and they really encouraged me to lead with confidence. They encouraged me to really be an active contributor in meetings. They asked for my inputs, asked for my opinions, encouraged me to interact at all levels of the organization. And by doing that, they really helped to create a space for me where I knew that my inputs mattered. And my leaders really helped me by creating that solid foundation. And I've taken those first few months of my career and really built across all the years that I've been here at Applied. So really, really have a lot of gratitude towards the managers and mentors that helped me early on at Applied.
Oh, that's wonderful. I really love hearing it, especially since you are a female leader at Applied and you've done so well thus far. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to ask Adi. Tell me a little bit about your mentorship and the experience you had, especially since you're the newest one here on the team.
Yeah, I would kind of say that I'm still in my early days at Applied. But, in my short time here, I have been really fortunate to have found a great mentor through our mentorship program. And they kind of let you match with someone who has like similar values that you're looking for. And like throughout this year, I'm still transitioning from college life and then going into industry. So navigating a lot of things that come with that. My mentor, I've been able to really lean on her, and she's given me like so much confidence in myself and keeping me grounded when you're starting out in a job. There's so many things that you don't know, and having someone there to offer some perspective and to keep you grounded, like I said, has been such an immense support for me, especially as someone who is coming from out of state and trying to learn and go into this new chapter in my life.
Thank you. I love the variation between you and Sage. So thank you so much for sharing, especially with some of our students are online today and want to learn more about that journey at Applied. Jaylis has joined us. Welcome, Jaylis. Hi. Thank you so much for joining. We all had an opportunity to introduce ourselves, talk a little bit about what you do, share something personal that you do outside of work. And you do some really cool things. So I'm going to have you do that. And then we're going to show you a really fun clip of who Applied is.
Okay. Awesome. So glad to chat with everyone. I am coming from you live from the Arizona State University campus. I'm so excited to meet everyone and talk to everyone. I am a university recruiter. I'm here at Applied. I am based out of Austin, Texas, but as you know, it is career fair season right now here at Applied Materials. And so I am visiting Arizona State this week, and I'm having such a great time meeting all the amazing students. One thing that I do outside of work that I absolutely love and enjoy is I'm actually a music and concert photographer. I have a degree in photo communications. And so while I love being on the HR side and absolutely love my job as a university recruiter, Nana can attest to that. I love the creative side that I use with my photo part of my degree. And yes, I'm a music and concert photographer. Love it, love it, love it.
That's great. Welcome, Jayless. And we have a special guest who's joined back on, Hallie Brown. Hallie is also a university recruiter, and I'm going to have you quickly introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do and some fun facts about what you do after work.
Hi, my name is Hallie Brown. I'm coming to you from Kalispell, Montana. And I am actually just coming back from Purdue University. I got to spend the week there, loved it. What I like to do, I'm really into virtual reality. And so I can be found there hanging out after work. That is one of the things that really fills my cup. And I also like to do lots of things in AI. So hope to hear more about you guys.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I love, Jayless, that you're at ASU because that is where Sage went.
Yeah.
Right. This is a wonderful connection.
And also Audie went. Audie was with me yesterday at the
Audie was
Eastern
there.
Career Fair.
That
So
is,
yeah,
yes,
we have some
yes.
ASU reps.
This is fantastic. Yes, Audie. Okay. This is what we're going to do next. We are going to show you the video and then we're going to continue with questions that we can all learn from. So let's get started with the video. I love this clip and I love the girl power that we show and talk a little bit about who Applied is and what we do. So thank you all for tuning in. Now we're going to kick off some really meaty questions. And I'm so excited that all of you are here to listen and learn. So I am going to start with either Hallie or Jayless. So we'll have Hallie kick it off and Jayless end it. What kinds of structured early career programs or resources does Applied offer for new grads, our NCG program?
Hi, awesome. Well, thank you. One of the opportunities that we have is with our Field Service Engineer Development Program. That one is going to give you an opportunity to get hands-on with our equipment. And you get the opportunity to train in our operations over in Taiwan. We also have opportunities in manufacturing down in Austin, Texas, and then more opportunities over in our Gloucester, Massachusetts, and Kalispell, Montana operations. Jayless, can you tell me a little bit more about some of those opportunities down in Austin?
Yeah, so I'm happy to. So we do have our manufacturing facility in Austin. So we manufacture the tools in Austin that we are selling to our customers. And so with the manufacturing opportunities, we do have a rotational program. It's about 9 months, and you get to really go through all of the rotations within the manufacturing departments, and so you really understand. You also meet our technicians, and so it's a big collaborative rotation. Now, apart from manufacturing, we also have our semiconductor products group, which they do about a 3-month rotation, 3 to 4 month rotation. That is our largest business unit that we have, and so you do rotate through different areas of the business, and you also get to spend a week in Austin. So that is really cool. They do a lot of really interesting things that we get to collaborate with when we're in Austin. And there's so many other programs that we do have rotational. Most of our new college grad hires do go through some sort of rotational. So we're not just going to do a orientation for 2 days and then throw you out into your new role in your new career. We want to make sure that you are confident in the area that you're going to be working in. And so we do a lot of training, a lot of networking as well, to make sure that you know the job that you are eventually going to go into in your new role. So I think that's what I love about Applied, is that they set you up for success when you come in as a new college grad to get to really know the company.
That's wonderful. I'm going to ask Adi this question as well. What kind of structured early programs or resources does Applied offer for new grads? Some of the fun perks that you can share with us as well.
Yeah, Hallie and Joas did a really great job of kind of describing like what the NCG program was, but I kind of want to talk a little bit about my experiences having gone through it just not even a year ago. And so essentially, like, I got to spend the first few months of my career learning about the company and getting a head start on developing some of those skills that I need to actually be successful in my role. And probably my favorite part about the program is the people I got to meet and really the community I got to build within the company, like, so early on in my career. It honestly helped a lot with my transition from college into like full-time work, and I got to make some really great friends along the way.
That's awesome. What's your favorite perk?
I think my favorite perk, okay, so like I mentioned, I like to go rock climbing, and so Applied Materials offers kind of like a stipend benefit that you can use money to supplement things that promote your health. And so I kind of use mine to go into my climbing gym membership.
Okay, I love that perk too. Thank you so much for really sharing how the program works from each of your perspectives, whether you're a recruiter or you're an NCG. So thanks so much. Okay, so I'm going to ask the next question, and this is going to Sage. In your experience at Applied, what makes a candidate stand out for you, especially during the application, career fair, interview process, or overall recruiting journey in your experience?
Yeah, thank you for that. So a couple things. I would really provide 2 points in this area. One is really looking for someone that has a good representation of themselves, right? What are their interests? What are they looking to achieve? Being able to communicate that, and being able to articulate how they plan on solving difficult challenges, right? Because we solve a lot of hard problems at Applied Materials. So talking through approaches to that is always very helpful in getting to know a candidate. The other thing I would say is really about an individual's interest in learning continuously. I didn't start Applied with an engineering or technical background. I majored in supply chain. I had no idea what Applied Materials was manufacturing, what its impact was on the semiconductor industry. It's massive, it's exciting, but I just was very curious and just wanted to learn. And there are so many individuals at Applied that are willing to take the time, explain things that you're interested in learning about, whether they're really technical or more business oriented. There's a space for that level of curiosity. So I also look for that in candidates as well, which is individuals that are really interested in continuously learning new things and finding ways to apply that into their day-to-day.
That is a great answer, especially from where you're sitting. I actually want to ask, Hallie and Jalis's question because we are knee deep in university recruiting season and being on campus. So I'm just curious from your experience as recruiters, what stands out?
I think a good resume. I think a great resume because we are, in the middle of career fair season. And so I think, one of the things is to go to your career center and have your resume evaluated because, there might be some things that you're missing on your resume. What I look for on your resume is almost a written version of the STAR method, which we can talk about later if you don't know what the STAR method is. But I'm looking for the things that you did at your internship or your research experience or even your projects, how you tackled that task and what were the results. So the metrics on your resume. I think that stands out. And if you don't understand that, I really, really, really cannot stress enough to go to your Career Center and get your resume checked out. But also when we're talking about talking in person, someone that's excited, someone that's hungry, someone that really that comes to our table and they're like, I know what Applied Materials is responsible for. It is a great company that I want to work for, and it was the company that I wanted to meet today. Because we know that you're interested versus just kind of traveling table to table to see what merch we have to give away. And so someone that just knows a little bit about our company, that is very, very eager and willing to learn, willing to roll their hands up and get ready for either your internship or your new college grad experience. I think when I talk to hiring managers, they're looking for that eagerness to dive in and just immerse themselves in applied materials in the semiconductor industry.
Oh, that's great. I love the STAR method. Everyone should know the STAR method. It doesn't matter what stage of your career you're in. It works both personally as well as professionally, especially when you're negotiating with your kids. So thank you so much. How about you, Hallie?
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Jayla said. Really important that you're going to that career fair or that career center, having them get eyes on that resume. You can tell as a recruiter who's done that and who has not. The other piece is when you do go to events, and if you have waited an hour in line, I am really hoping that you have done your research on us. Most of the candidates that I really remember are the ones that came up to me, confidently put their hand in front of me, introduced themselves, gave me their spiel, their pitch about them, but started asking some really great questions about applied materials. I had an awesome experience the other day that I definitely want to share. I went to Purdue, had a great conversation with a student at an event. A couple days later, she saw me at another event, and she was telling me about a piece of equipment that she can make where, and it's this little piece here. I don't know if you can see too much, but when your phone gets close to it, it automatically links you to my LinkedIn. And I was really impressed. I was like, that's really cool that you can do that you could do that with your LinkedIn. And she went back to her room and made me one and brought it to me at the end of the event. So yeah, I'm definitely going to remember that person. So awesome. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, that's great. Anyone else want to add to this? Because I do think this is important. It doesn't matter what stage of your career you're in, but this is, those impressions, first ones especially, really matter.
I would just echo Sage's. I know she kind of really talked about the continuous learning and how that kind of reveals itself in different people. But I always kind of look at that as just really the curiosity piece. I am really interested when people demonstrate to me that they are personally and professionally curious. And that can be kind of demonstrated through their work history or an internship, and also very much their personal lives, right? Like you got really into dog training because you got this puppy and it was whatever, like, tell me about it. Tell me about how you kind of dove into something, how you took the initiative, how you really kind of watered where you want to bloom. Like you took the initiative because you wanted that part of yourself to grow and to thrive. And so you're doing something about that, because I can't really teach you how to do that. I can teach a smart person all the things they need to know about how to do the job that I do, but I can't really teach you to be curious, and I can't teach you to water those parts that you want to grow. So
that's interesting. I actually really appreciate that. The flower watering part analogy, that actually really makes sense. Thanks so much for adding on. Sage, do you have anything, or Adi? I mean, I'm just throwing this out because this is really important, especially as we all think about our journey.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all of us kind of hit on it really, really well. Um, you know, that initial interaction is extremely important, especially once you progress from the recruitment phase to now you're talking with hiring managers, me being one of them. And now you're fully in an interview process, and kind of transitioning from that recruiting event to now you've been shortlisted, and now we're kind of going through the interview process. All of the things that Haley and Jalis mentioned are absolutely critical, right? The resume, that's kind of your first introduction to a hiring manager. What are the skill sets? How are you presenting yourself? And then, just like a recruiting event, when you're in the interview with a hiring manager, it's having that, that motivation, that excitement about Applied, asking questions, right? If I'm in an interview and the candidate does not have any questions for me, to me, that's a big red flag, right? I want to make sure that individual is just as curious in this interaction about learning about Applied, about learning about the role, as I am interested in getting to know the individual. So just really echoing what a lot of folks have already mentioned.
That's great. Thank you. And Adi, as a NCG and not so long ago interviewing for a role, what actually stood out for yourself? Like, what did you learn and you would like to share with the group about standing out overall?
I think something that I really remember, at least in the process of like getting more comfortable with interviews, is, and something I would recommend to a lot of like people who are just starting out, is like make sure that you practice. Don't let the first time you interview be in front of the person who's interviewing you, because like you want to put your best self forward, and you want to show them that you are confident and then you are ready for whatever that this role will throw at you. So then getting some practice and making sure that you have the confidence going into it with your best foot forward is something that I feel that I've benefited a lot from in the interview process. And then also just to make sure, like kind of a little bit of what everyone else is saying, of like, make sure you do your homework beforehand, because it really sticks out to being on the other side of it when they show, or when a candidate shows that they care and that they've done their homework, and this is something that like that they really are interested and passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great.
I want to shout out Audie because she was with me yesterday at ASU, and she was just answering and talking to students all day long, and she had a smile on her face the entire time. So she's a great representative of our company, and she was really great with the students yesterday. So thanks.
Yeah, and it comes with practice. Like I was a very like shy kid growing up, and so like as you come more out of your shell, it'll only get easier and easier. And like I'm like a personal testament to that.
Oh gosh, I love your positive energy, everyone. So thank you, because that does represent Applied in its best sense. So thank you all for sharing. I think this is really important. And don't forget, we're recording this, so you will be able to revisit some of these great answers. Okay, now I'm going to pivot a bit, okay? And I'm excited for this question as well. How are employees encouraged or empowered to get involved in community initiatives at Applied? Jessica?
Yes. Okay. This is the one. We have so many cool opportunities from the moment our employees step in the door. As part of their new hire orientation, they are learning about the work that we're doing to make a positive contribution in our communities. They have a hands-on volunteer opportunity right there in that orientation. As part of your welcome package, you get what we call a welcome cause card, which is just actually dollars from the Applied Materials Foundation. It's kind of like a gift card that you basically get to go into our system and gift that money, that's not even your own money, to an eligible charity that you care about that's in that system. So right off the bat, that's our signal to you that we care about what you care about, and we want you to kind of join us in this journey of how we can be making a great future for in the work that we do, and also in this social impact work, and really kind of participating in the success of our communities. And then as you kind of go on, we have an employee giving program where the foundation will match the financial contributions that you make to eligible charities in the community. We have a volunteer time grant program. So we know that people have, depending on what season of life you're in, you have different things that you can offer. Some people have money, some people have their time, some people want to really invest and go deep with one nonprofit and spend a lot of time really kind of doing a more skills-based volunteering project with them. There's many ways that folks can kind of get involved, and we're always happy also to work one-on-one with people who are interested in becoming board members of nonprofits, or employees who themselves have started their own nonprofits. It's just so amazing to uncover all the really unique and creative ways that our employees are engaged in the community. And then we also run a couple of big campaigns every year too. One that's actually coming up pretty soon in North America, at least, is focused on food security in the United States and Canada. It's called the Fight Against Hunger. It's this huge kind of competitive fundraising campaign where all of our business units kind of work as teams to compete with each other. We're doing all these really creative fundraising events to raise money for food banks all across North America. And those are literally, Nana, I know you have some stories from when you first started and you saw these, but they are literally like, we have executives who will volunteer to like have pies thrown in their face. And if you make a donation, you get to throw a pie in their face. So it's like all hands on deck. Everybody is really engaged. It's a really huge, I would say really kind of like a cornerstone of our company culture, that employees love doing this so much. And then we also have a big environmental campaign too. That happens all over the world. So you can you'll see on our internal communication site, you see all kinds of cool things popping up where it's like, employees in Austin are cleaning up a lake and they go out on a kayak. And then there's employees in Japan who are going to Mount Fuji and like walking up Mount Fuji and doing a whole cleanup of the trail. Or people are doing all kinds of different awareness and learning events too. So there's just, as you can see, I'm talking a mile a minute. There's a million more things I could say, but there are so many kind of formal and informal opportunities for employees to engage in the community and make that difference where they really care about it in a way that's meaningful to them. And I'm very proud that we have a really robust team that's here to kind of facilitate all that engagement.
And Jessica, your energy shines through. I am just as excited as you are. I've worked at many brand name companies, and this community initiative, all of them in general, just like blew me away. I'd never experienced anything like this. And we'll talk a little bit later about some experience that you've all had within Applied when it comes to community engagement. I want to ask everyone to please put in any questions that you have relating to this or any other topics, because I will stop along the way to make sure that we're helping to support your questions as well. But one of the questions I do have, and it's a little pivot back, but it's really important. And Hallie, you may be able to answer this one. Are there opportunities for advanced career candidates from an industry standpoint, not just early career, but little post?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Sure. So Kelly has a question, and she wants to know about, are there opportunities for advanced career candidates? So maybe Sage, you might want to chime in as well, or is it just early career that we focus on?
That's a great question. So when we are on campus, we do get folks that graduated from those schools and they're like, hey, I worked at this company for the last 2 to 5 years. What does this mean for me? Am I part of the conversation? Absolutely. We need folks that have experience as well. We have an entire industry team that is devoted to plugging in folks that have that great experience into the roles that we need to have filled. So yeah, I love this question because yes, we are excited about the folks that are, just going through their college journey all the way up through many, many years of experience. Because as much as I love bringing in new college talent, you can't hold a candle to somebody that has great experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Anyone else have anything to add? Because I do have another question that has come in from Cynthia Cobb. But before I ask, does anyone else have anything to add?
I'll
Okay.
just echo what Hallie had to say. We have varying levels of requirements in terms of roles within Applied, and certainly, in my organization and many different organizations, experience matters. So we absolutely are always looking for top talent across a variety of skill sets, across a variety of functions, and we're leveraging those recruiting methods to bring people early into the career as well as folks that are more advanced into their career.
That's great. Thank you, Cynthia, for that great question. I do want to ask another question, which is how important would you say networking outside your team and company is nowadays? Does anyone want to answer?
I can take that. It's pivotal. It's pivotal. We are such a large company. You have to really enjoy collaboration. And so those group projects that you have in class are going to be pivotal here at Applied because we all work together in some ways and we are a global company. And so you'll see many business units and members actually have calls in collaborations with our other global teams. So Korea, Taiwan, even Italy, we have all of these different offices overseas that we have to work with. And also, if you wanted to ever pivot in your career, you want to network. You want to network within the company as well. It is a really, really great company to get to know people. And everyone has been so kind. Everyone that I've had a question with that maybe might be outside of HR, where I needed information. What does SPG stand for? I finally know what it is, Semiconductor Product Groups. It was because I had to ask someone in that role, what does that mean? And so it is networking is pivotal because it can help you move your career in the way that you want as well. You're not always stuck in, say, manufacturing. If you would like to go to a different role, network with the area that you want to go into. And so it's just like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an amazing networking site. Internally, it's like a mini LinkedIn in person. You want to get to know those other departments just because we are collaborating all the time with people, even in different countries, different states, we're all collaborating.
That's great. Thank you. How about you, Adi? I know that you are involved in a few ERGs. You want to talk about it as well as you, Hallie? In terms of networking, like how does that build your network?
I think it's very easy to kind of tunnel vision and only work with the team that you work with, but kind of what is going to be more beneficial to you in the long run is being able to have those connections across the company, because I think it gives you a better perspective on on what's important from a bigger picture. Because when you are doing your day-to-day, you may not necessarily think about how for example, I'm a process engineer and we're working on stuff on the research and development side, but then knowing and having connections with people in manufacturing, it brings up these other perspectives that you would never actually even think of in the first place, and it kind of reframes the way that you think about your design and thinking about other people and being more empathetic about other parts of the process throughout the company. I think getting that sort of perspective and broadening your own perspective is something that is you can only really do if you network and get yourself out there and meet other types of people who come from different walks of life.
Yeah, great. Thank you. A fun fact, did you know that a third of our annual hiring is internal as employees progress in their careers and grow within the company? So networking is important, and meeting people authentically and connecting and learning is critical, especially at Applied. And I think it's for every company, any situation you're in. I just think it's important to build those connections because the payoff will be huge as you learn, and then they get to know you and they get to see your professional and personal drive. All right, great. Okay, I know we've been talking a little bit about the community impact and everyone's jazzed up, especially Jessica. So I'm going to ask all of you, do you have a favorite community impact story or personal experience that you want to share? I can start with Hallie because we all have a story, right? And it's so exciting to be applied to be part of this community journey. So Hallie.
Yeah. So, as part of Applied Materials Generation Girl Initiative, we support a nonprofit called Code Girls up here in Kalispell, Montana. Code Girls brings coding to middle school girls in rural areas of Montana, as well as our tribal communities. This is a big part of my growing up, is living rurally, living outside of the Blackfeet Reservation. So knowing that those girls are getting opportunities that they would have never thought possible, that these folks are doing that and making that connection, means so much. And so I'm very grateful. That's something that we take very seriously here at Applied Materials.
Wow. I mean, my heart just skipped a beat. Thank you so much. I just learned something new as well. So thanks so much, Hallie, for sharing. What about you, Adian, or J-List, or Sage? Anyone have a story you want to share?
Yeah, but just really quickly, that was a great story, Hallie. As someone who also grew up on the reservation, like that kind of hits close to home a little bit. But I really love that we are doing like great work like this as part of Applied. And I really love this question because for me personally, ever since I began pursuing a career in engineering, I've always been really passionate about female representation in this field. And all throughout college, I was pretty involved with the Society of Women Engineers. And when I started working at Applied, I immediately found out about, it's called the Momentum Fund. It's a scholarship that the foundation gives to women pursuing engineering who face financial hardships, and gives them the support to be able to finish out their engineering degrees. So when I heard about this, naturally, I was like, how do I get involved? And like, thankfully, I've had the privilege to be able to serve as a resource for some of our scholars, answering some of their questions about navigating the hiring process. And even coming up, I'm helping out with some of the mock interviews for our scholars. So I know these types of programs have helped me so much in my engineering journey. And it's been such a pleasure and a privilege being able to pay that forward to these future generations who are going to change the world.
That's awesome, Audie.
That is awesome.
Can I just add that this has been a great internal networking experience also, because as I've learned more about Audie, who I didn't know before this, my team is the one that manages the Momentum Fund and Generation Girl. So when I hear Audie talk about that great experience, I have already pinged someone on my team to say, hey, you need, we got to get Audie in front of more people. This is great. He's so connected to this, right? So it's even great for us internally, because we don't always get to see everyone, who's on this stage right now in our regular daily lives. So it's great to continue that networking too.
Especially when it hits home.
Yes.
These two stories.
I want to piggyback of something that Jessica was talking about, that one of our initiatives is food security. And so I donated just because, that is something that is near and dear to my heart, of making sure, especially children, they don't have to go to school, hungry or anything like that. And so one thing that I think came full circle for me this past summer is I did donate. Central Texas Food Bank is where our funds go to. And this summer we have, I help with the internship here in Austin, or I guess they're in Austin since I'm in Arizona right now. And I was able to take our interns to the Central Texas Food Bank, and we volunteered our time for the afternoon. And so we got to see a front row seat of where, the funds that we were giving or, donating to Central Texas Food Bank, we got to actually help, create the need that they need. And so we were on the production line. So we were on a different production line that day, but it was really, really great that we got to help our community, not only monetarily, but we actually got to go and volunteer. And it was a great experience. And my interns were just so grateful that we got the opportunity. So I wanted to kind of do that full circle moment with one of the initiatives that we are really pushing through our volunteerism.
Yeah, I just love it when it's personal, right? It means so much more. And then having your company back you up with this value and personal journey that also affects the company as a whole, that's magic. So thanks for sharing that. Sage, before we move on to our next question, do you have a story, or Jessica, a personal story you want to share?
I mean, I have a million, obviously.
I know.
I'll just say a very quick one is one of my favorites is that we have a really interesting semiconductor kind of volunteer activity that some of our employee volunteers take into different schools and work on with students now. It's really cool. They have an actual cookie, like a cookie that the students are going to eat later, and they decorate it with frosting, and we have a little kind of stencil, which would be called a mask, that they put over, and they put sprinkles on it. So it's a very, very like fun and delicious way of introducing some basic semiconductor concepts. But what's the coolest about this volunteer activity is that it was developed by Applied Materials employees over some period of years. There were kind of multiple groups. Actually, of course, it was Women's Professional Development Network, ERGs, employee resource groups, because they're so creative and so engaged, especially in education. And so there were several groups of that employee resource group in different locations across North America who were kind of simultaneously developing this and doing it in a very grassroots way over a few years. And then they kind of came together and we sort of documented it a little bit better so that we could then share it out and scale it a little more and have as many volunteer groups as possible kind of take that activity into the community. So that's one of my favorites, is that we have this really great activity and way to connect with the community that was actually completely developed and created by our own employees and their own passion that they brought to the space, which is so cool.
That's so great. And I absolutely love what you just wrote in the chat, which is 1.7 million to food banks during our first month during Fight Against Hunger campaign. And with our match program, we donated 3.4 million that went out to our food banks across North America. Wow. That really is incredible, especially when we talk about food insecurity. So thank you all for being a part of this. I'm going to step out to another question, which has to do with the community impact. It has to do with your professional journey. I'm going to start with Jessica again. How has Applied helped you to align your career with your personal values or passions?
Ooh, okay. This is an easy one for me. I think it's pretty obvious. My personal values are very much rooted in a sense of justice. It's that fairness and equity, and that everyone has the same opportunity to thrive and to create an amazing life for themselves and contribute to the world in a way that's meaningful to them through their work and outside of their work. And so my career at Applied, doing all these things that I've described, connecting the company, our foundation, our dollars, our employees' passion and their efforts, connecting that directly with members in our community and uplifting those communities is what fills my cup. And that's what keeps me here at Applied. I've been able to build my whole career on that before Applied and while I've been here. So that's easy for me.
That's great. I know it was easy if you just came out. So it's clear that it's completely aligned with your values system as well. Adi, what about you? How has Applied helped you align your career?
I think so. Like Jessica has touched a lot on about how if you find something that you are really passionate or interested in, then there's probably like a program that Applied does that to kind of match up with that value. And something that I kind of want to add to that is not only like the availability of those opportunities, but something that I've personally found is the support from higher up. And so like just earlier on this year, I was invited to go to an event to support to introduce more women into Applied and to build those types of relationships and pipelines. And I was really fortunate to have like not only my boss but like my boss's boss to be very supportive, and they were like, we can tell that you are really passionate about this, so we want to support you, and you can go ahead and seek out these opportunities that may not necessarily be related to like my job description, my job role, but it's something that they still want to accommodate because they know that it's something that I care about. And that to me means a lot, because like I want to be able to do like the really cool technical stuff that like drives my curiosity, but to also drive my fulfillment about something that I'm really passionate about outside of work, and being able to bridge these two things.
I think we're all feeling that. Agreed. You want a purpose and passion to be aligned. So that's a great answer. Thanks. How about anyone else have anything to add? I know I'm just like, this is just such a great conversation. I want to make sure that everyone is sharing their personal value system and passion with us.
Yeah, I'll just add, kind of build off of what the others have already said. Is what I learned really early on in joining Applied is that if you're someone that's highly motivated to organize individuals, do something good for the community, or find something to improve inside of Applied, whether it be a process or get more people together, talking, collaborating, you will get support to do that. The leadership team across Applied Materials encourages that type of activity, right? I've worked with folks that have put together a volunteering program for a team. I myself have put together a volunteering program for a team where we go to a food bank or we go to a Secret Santa event, right, where we're volunteering toys. Or if you find something inside of Applied that you're passionate about, even if it's work related, right? If you see a process and it could be better, you're going to get the support to go look at that. And we're all continuously trying to make things better. We want this to be the best place to work. And so if you're an individual and you find those opportunities, you're going to get the support to look at that.
That's great. That's great. Thank you all.
Hey,
Any questions?
Can I
yes, please.
answer a question real quick that I saw in the chat that's geared more towards Hallie and I real quick?
Of course.
It's asking creative ways to make your resume stand out, which I know we kind of chatted on, but one thing that I wanted to talk about real quick is making sure you have metrics on your resume. And so, and I personally, every recruiter in a different company is going to be different, but I really enjoy when you bold those metrics. So it makes my eye go straight to what you're looking at, what you bolded, when it's like 50% saved, 50% efficiency, or save the company $2,000, $20,000. The only reason why I wanted to highlight that, Nina, and I'm sorry to crash, is because Hallie and I are literally in the middle of recruiting, and we're going to be looking at hundreds, if not thousands, of resumes. And so having those metrics bolded out just makes our eyes go straight to that. And so, again, ask your career center and all of that. I want to keep saying, please ask your career center for your resume advice. But and I'm sorry, I have to jump. I have interviews right in this room coming in. And so I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to chat with you today, and add me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And Nina, everyone, thank you for letting me join.
Thank you, Jaylis.
Thanks,
Yeah, it's crazy time right now for university recruiting, and exciting at the same time. We had a question from the audience about remote possibilities here at Applied. So we actually, most of our roles are in office, okay? That's the majority of our roles. But the company does support flexible scheduling and flexible time off in many of our roles to support the employees' personal needs. And I need all of you to know how important that is, because a lot of companies, it's very black and white, and we have that opportunity to be collaborative and really find the right environment for you with any of your employee needs that you may have outside of the work environment. So I wanted to share that with all of you, and also say thank you for asking that important question. All right. I'm going to quickly look on the chat. All right. I just want to make sure. Oh, I have a question here. How can someone gain experience in supply chain to land a job in this field? What are some good entry-level jobs to gain that experience? I don't know if Hallie, that's something you can answer, or Sage, or anyone can jump in.
Sage, do you want to tackle that one? Because I know that I deal mostly with the rotational program, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, we've talked a lot about internships and recruiting and new college graduate programs, and kind of how to set yourself up for success there. What I can kind of touch on is early career roles that are really good for supply chain, especially in what we focus on at Applied, I would say anything that's touching procurement. So purchasing is a really great opportunity. Being a buyer, which is basically, you're interfacing with suppliers, you're working with our demand needs, but basically bringing the raw materials in that we need to be able to manufacture products. Manufacturing planning roles are always very good to gain that hands-on experience. And then, anything that's touching manufacturing, quality, you don't necessarily always have to have that hands-on supply chain experience, but if you're building skill sets, right, whether it be interfacing with suppliers, working through procurement type roles, working through operations or manufacturing type of roles, that could be production planning, it could be quality management. You're really picking up a lot of different pieces along the way as you build a variety and diversity of skill sets that are very well translatable in the supply chain field. So I would say look at Applied Materials website on supply chain internships, new college graduate opportunities. Look at those descriptions. It's going to spell out some of those experiences that we're looking for. But before you even have that opportunity, I would say getting familiar with Excel, Microsoft Office. We're very data driven. Just collecting those types of experiences are also very helpful as you start out.
This is great. I knew you'd be the perfect person to answer this question. Thank you. Appreciate that. Also, we have 2 more questions left, everyone. I know we started late, so we're going to give all of you a couple of extra minutes, maybe 10. Just want to make sure everyone knows that because we're having such a fruitful discussion, and we do appreciate your patience as we navigated the start time. I also want to remind everyone that not all of the attendees are early career. So Fairy Godboss is such a phenomenal online resource for all things career and questions and support. So make sure if you're not a student or if you are a student, definitely utilize Fairy Godboss because I've learned so much myself through utilizing this online platform. All right, we have 2 more questions left. I love these questions. Okay. Fairy Godboss has a tradition of asking its panelists the following. What have they observed that women do not feel comfortable about bragging or taking ownership of their amazing things that they've achieved, right? Share with us an accomplishment, a personal, professional story that you're most proud of.
I can go first. I completed my very first half Ironman this year, which was 70.3 miles of swimming, biking, and running. It took hours, and it really pushed me to the edge of what I thought I could accomplish.
That's awesome. I love it. Love it. How about you, Sage?
Oh, gosh. For me, it's really dropping off my daughter at college last year and, not crying snotty, ugly cries in the parking lot and kind of watching her thrive and create her own career journey.
That's awesome. That's amazing support as a parent. Anyone else want to throw in a quick story? Okay. All right. This is great. Thank you, Hallie and Sage, for sharing that. I think we need to brag a little more. And for some reason, especially with women, we're really humble. Humility is so important, but it's also important to share your accomplishments because that's how we all learn from each other. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, this is what I call the lightning round, okay? And this is for everyone to answer, okay? And this is our last question. What advice would you give your younger professional self today? Knowing what you know, what advice would you give? I'm going to start with Adi.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. My advice would be that it's okay to fail.
I love that. That's great. I think that's important that we forget. All right. How about Sage?
Don't strive for perfectionism. You don't have to be perfect. That would be my advice.
That's important to know what we forget. How about you, Hallie?
Sorry, 1 second. My advice would be to don't be afraid to take up space, but that's okay.
I agree. I think that's important to know. And Jessica?
That's always the one that I go with too. It's like it's very easy early in your career when you're young to think that you have to make yourself small and make your voice quiet, but your opinions early on are really valued. I love working with people that are early in their careers, and I wish that I realized that when I was early in my career. So, do please share your opinions; they're valued.
Definitely. And I'm going to actually answer this as well because I work with a lot of engineering students who all hang out in the engineering building and really focus their life on engineering for the 4 years. I always say, use stretch goals, like take on new opportunities that you normally wouldn't be able to do. So I think that's super important to do that, whether it's taking a dance class or a humanities course, something to just sort of balance out your learning overall, especially when you're in college and those opportunities present themselves every day. All right, this is a time where we say thank you. Thank you so much, Sage, Jessica, Hallie, Adi, and Jaylis for joining us today and for sharing such fantastic advice. I mean, it really was amazing. I think we all learned from each other. And thanks for all of you for your great questions and tuning into this really fruitful discussion. As a reminder, we will be sending out recordings of today's event, along with the resources to learn more about opportunities at Applied Materials. In the meantime, please be sure to check out Applied Materials profile and jobs on Fairy Godboss. And we'd also want your feedback. So please head to the Typeform tab on the right side of your screen and share your thoughts in a 1-minute survey. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.